Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is episode 10. We have made it to 10 of How to App on iOS, and I am, same as usual, your host, Starr with the most, Jade. I hope everybody is doing cool. It is 8 a.m. as usual, and what am I doing? Not even attending to my screen here. So let's just move my mic a little bit so I can. Ooh, that sounded sexy. G'day, Pete. How you going? Scott, SM Borthwick, Tom, Benedict Stewart. Glad you could all be here for this part 2 of this week's Drum Week. All right, so let's break down a few things. What is Drum Week about? Yesterday we had a look at Garageband on iOS, how to take your fear away from moving away from the auto drummer if you're not proficient in drums, and taking those baby steps to being able to create your own drums using the acoustic kits or whatever kit you'd like to use. That's what yesterday was about. So, and then how to split those tracks into individual drum parts so you have way more control over your drum kit. What are we doing today? Well, first I'm going to send a shout out to Pete because I sent him a link to this, and it's relevant because, man, I am ordering one of these, this smart coffee warmer for my morning show, because because I know you, I've watched your shows enough that by the time you get into the show, you pick up that cup and go, coffee, tastes cold, like cat wee, yum. I'm definitely going to get one of these USB things. So anyway, that's my mini rant off because I'm sick of my tea going cold. It's such a small thing, but it's something that is annoying me. So what are we looking at today? We are looking at EG Pulse. I'm going to go over a few other tips and tricks and little shifty things that I do to get the most out of my drums before going into the little EG Pulse bit. As usual with this show, I don't cover everything of these apps. There's no time to. That's what your job is to do. That's for you to make those mistakes. I try and go over a small feature of an app that I find useful and how I can apply it to my music making. And then I throw the ball over, I handball the ball over to you so you can go ahead and make mistakes like I surely will in this show, because that is what it's all about. So this is EG Pulse. From memory, I think it's like $20 AUD. I really should check that up, but I'm slack. I'll go into a brief overview of it. It's a drum machine. It's a sequencer. It has time shifting effects and stuff. You can import any drum sound that you want into the pads on this. That's where its strength is. And it gives you an alternative to the Garageband drummer, and it's an AuV3 plugin. So you can just add it to a track in Garageband and just start drumming like you would on your screen or on your E Drumkit, like you would the Garageband drummer. It's virtually the same thing, just the drum placements are in different. No, they're in different places. So let's just do a bit of AMSR before we get into it. Smoking a pancake. Okie doke, enough of my stupidity, because I went over time yesterday and that was silly. So where did we leave off yesterday? Let's have a look. Let's open GarageBand. Still got everything open from yesterday. Let's have a crack. Hey, do you want to come down to the... Yeah, that was my Anthony Kiedis on crack right there. Same difference, really. He doesn't sing words. He just makes up stuff. So, let's go over a few little tips and tricks before I get into adding EG Pulse to this. Because these things, I reckon, a lot of people don't really know about, especially on an iPad, may know about, and just aren't using them to their fullest potential. Firstly, what I'm going to do is explain a little bit about making drum templates. So let's get out of here. I'm going to go over to another file that I previously created at an earlier stage. You can see this track here. It's called Song Drum Template Grindcore. Oh, we should go to full screen for this, shouldn't we? There we go. So Song Drum Template Grindcore. I'm going to open this. Now, it's nothing exciting to look at. There's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drum tracks there I've created. And there's all these short little bursts in here. So what this is, and I don't really use this one anymore. This was my original one, but I'm showing you this one because this was where I started. And, you know, I'm looking at this whole series of videos to people who may not have done this before. So I'm going to show where I began. So a lot of these drum bits are pretty pooey. The idea behind this is to create these little sections, 2-bar sections of drums for death metal, so blast beats. And I'll just quickly run through them. Okay, you get the idea that these little sections all in a line. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of them. They get progressively faster as we go on. So I did all these initially, like in yesterday's video, in one track, and then I split them across these 6 tracks. These aren't meant to be absolutely perfect. They're just meant to have a simple beat that I can throw into any project if I'm looking for a heavy metal, death metal kind of beat, and then you can change the tempo and manipulate the speed of them, take bits out, add more bits in. And I'll show you how you do that really easy. So I'm going to do it in a brand new track. First, I'm going to select all these tracks and I'm going to copy them, get out of here. Let's start a whole brand new song. And we want an acoustic drum kit. Ding, 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 dong, ding, dong, dong, dong. While Garageband decides to think about it. Okay, now here we are with one track. I'm going to immediately go straight into the settings. I want to change the kit to a sunset. I want to change the track settings just because I do this every time. Velocity, sensitivity off. Quantization off. And now I'm going to duplicate this drum kit 5 times. Nice and easy stuff here. And one more. Now my cursor is at the start of the song, which is perfect. Now I'm going to click on the top track and hit paste. Bang! There's all those drums. This is why it's a really good idea if you're not a drummer and you're still learning to do drums without the auto drummer, to do this kind of thing and create and put in a folder in your Files app or within the GarageBand, wherever you want to put it in your Files app, a bunch of GarageBand projects that have drum patterns in them that you make up. It just cuts in half the time to create music that you don't want to spend doing this idly fiddly stuff with drums that you're going to have to do on every song if you're using virtual drummers. So having these, it's just an absolute, it's a no-brainer to me. And then to just be able to have chop, change, you know, straight away I can take all these. I only want this first bit. I'm going to split it. I'm going to copy all the rest of these, delete them, and there's my beat that I'm going to start the song with. Simple. So I hope that's given you a little bit of insight into, we can delete that now, into creating song drum templates in GarageBand. And you know, it's a great thing to do when you've got nothing to do. You've got no ideas for a song. You know, your brain's not computing. You feel like you're racking your brain to create something. Go make some drum templates. You'll thank yourself a million times over. So what else can we do here? I'm going to teach you something else, which I'd never see anybody doing much on GarageBand. And this isn't specifically for drums. This is for just importing WAV files or M4As or MP3s into your project. Okay, I'm not going to go into BPM or anything like that. I'm just talking specifically, quickly and instantly adding files to your project. So if you bring up your toolbar while you're in a project and grab onto the Files app and just pull it up to the side here, you'll see you now have all your files floating above Garageband, which is awesome. Now I'm just going to quickly look for a file in here, and that's something that's not too big. What do we got? Maybe utensils. What's this song? Let's have a look. I don't know. Let's try something else. Let's try. As you can see, I'm as organized as nothing. I'm not really organized. I'm terrible at this, at organization stuff. Everything's in alphabetical order. Let's see. Got some cello there. Okay, this is a demo I did for a paid demo I did for somebody for a podcast relating to a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. So to drag a file into your project, instead of going the old way, where you have to click up here, go to Files, browse from your Files app, forget that. You don't have to take all those steps. You can actually make things a lot easier by just grabbing the file, swinging it down into a new track. Oops, I should create a new track actually first. Let's grab a new, and it probably didn't work because I don't think it was the right kind of file. Let's try that again. Oh, what is it? It's probably a let's see if this works. There we go. So I'm just pulling in this track here from one of my songs, Do What Makes You Happy. Look at that. So easy. Just drag it into your folder. Let's change this to a clean. And we'll mute all these, get rid of all these channels here. And there it is. It's that easy to import files into your songs. Now, while we're on this little magic panel here that on the side, I don't even know what Apple call it. I call it a magic panel. That's stupid, but hey, they tell you the products are magic, so let's just go with that. I'll show you another quick tip while we've got this little panel open. I'm going to actually swipe that over to the side. I'm going to close here, and I'm going to open, where are we? I can't even see it here. I think I've got it hidden. There we are. We're going to open the clock app. Okay. I'm going to move to stopwatch, and I'm going to close out of that. And now it's down here in the bottom. So let's open up Garageband again. Bring up the toolbar. Come on. There we are. Now I'm going to grab the clock, and I'm going to put it in the same position as where we had the Files app. How many of you are frustrated to hell with Garageband not being able to tell you how long your song goes for? All of us. So here you go. You've got your stopwatch here. You're going to end up playing through the song that you're listening to at least once anyway. So just hit play and start at the same time. 17 seconds 69. That is way close enough for you to get an idea of how long your song goes. All right. So there's that tip. We can scoot that off now. And now I guess it's time, after a sip of tea, we're going to have a look at EG Pulse. So we're going to first mute all of these drums that we did yesterday and just keep this guitar track here. Okie doke. Now I'm going to hit the plus down the bottom and we're going to scroll across till we find the external add-ins, and we're looking for audio unit extensions. That's the first one here. Now in this list, I've got a couple of drum things in here. I've got Beat Hawk up here, Digi-Sticks. I'm going to be going through maybe Digi-Sticks tomorrow, I think. EG Pulse, D1. I think I've got D2 somewhere here. But for today, we're doing EG Pulse. So I'm going to click on that. It opens a brand new track with EG Pulse in here. Now, over to the bottom right-hand corner where my mouse is, you can see there's this little arrow. When I click on that, this gives me a full screen of the drum kit. Let's just give you a better view of what I'm actually doing there. Okay, kick, snare, hi-hat. Now if I want, I'll just turn on my electronic drum kit. So that's all connected. So drum kit automatically connects to it. Pads I can connect to it. Now I want to record some drums for this song, but I don't like this drum kit. Within this app, you have an absolute crap ton of drum kits. Okay, so you've got banks full of different kind of beats. For an example, you've got all these kits. Let's just grab one, this acoustic kit, just for an example. Is that the same? Sounds a bit the same to me. It probably is. Let's have a look at an acoustic rock kit. Just going to give this track some volume. Cool. But ultimately, I don't want to use any of these kits. Okay, so it's that easy to just use these kits. Before I actually show you how to play along with the song, which I think you already know if you've used Garageband Drummer in the past, it's virtually the same thing. Okay, I'm not even going to go into the sequencing on this today. As I said, I'm just showing you how to be able to play drums like an acoustic kit or with the electronic kit. I'm not touching sequencing, mostly because I'm not really a sequencer. It's just not been my style of music. So I'm going to load up a kit I previously had loaded called Mine. And this is the kick and snare. It's, I don't know, there's a lot of reverb on that. I want something that's a bit clickier. I want something that's a bit more modern kind of sounding. So here's the fantastic thing here. To make it so undifficult, once again, just bring up your toolbar down the bottom here. Oops. Grab your Files app, drag it across. And what do I want to look for? I want to look for I have a drum folder in here. What I'm going to do also at the end of this show, I'm going to post a link to my collection of drum samples. So if you do download this, or you download something like Digi-Sticks or any other kind of drum thing where you can import samples, I'm going to upload my 1 gig of all the samples, drum samples that I've collected. So it's a 1 gigabyte download, but I'm going to offer them for free for you all. So there's an absolute crap ton of really good samples in there. Where are we? I'm looking for Jade's drum samples. Nice and simple. So I'm going to click on this Divine kit. And I want some kicks. I'm just going to take the first one. What have we got? A kick VL dry. Now, I just click on this sample. Get back over to a full screen there for you. I'm going to click on the sample and just drag it onto the pad. Cool, and I want a snare as well. So we'll use the same kit. We've got some cool paste cymbals in here as well. So we've got some snares. We want uncompressed. VL1, we'll stick with VL1. We'll drag that over here. That's all I'm going to take for now because I don't need to show you an entire kit. Now I can just flick this away. Maybe. Now that's gone. Let's have a listen to this kick and snare. Cool. That's a much... You can probably already hear these are drum samples that you're just never going to be able to attain with something like the GarageBand drummer. Unfortunately, as we'll cut out of this full screen app here, unfortunately in a perfect world we'd be able to do this. Grab the drums from GarageBand and drag it into EG Pulse. But it's unfortunately not the case. You can't do it. Who knows? Look, if Apple were able to do something like that, it would make life so much easier. But here we are. And life isn't always as easy as what Apple says it is. So let's just try doing some drums with EG Pulse. And just make sure the volume is up as much as I can for this track. And cool. Okay, I'm a little bit off with my timing there because of actually having to mirror the iPad. That's latency, you get that. But like with everything, we can go in straight into this before doing anything. Oops. Into the track settings and hit quantization, and we can clean that up. Right, so let's go from here. Zoom in a bit. So that was from 4. And I'm just going to split that. And we're going to take that to 6 and split that. Delete all the rest. Copy. Paste, paste, paste. Okay, so let's select all of them now. I'll just flick my screen back over to there so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to grab all these. I'm going to join them all. And then, just like yesterday, okay, I'm going to duplicate the track. Edit this track. Here we go. Let's take these kicks. Copy them. And go over to this new track. Get back to the start. Edit. And paste. Now, seems like this is an example. I'm just not going into the whole deal. I should have done this in the first instance. I'm going to delete those kicks. And once again, let's just solo these two. You have the independence of your split channels. And I can even go back, create a duplicate track again, go back to the start, and add in my, let's add in a ride. And that should have quantized itself there. So there you have it. That is a brief and very small look at EG Pulse. As you can see, just from what I did there, just that little bit of usage of EG Pulse, there's a whole lot of things you can do with this app. And as you saw me drag a drum file into here, I'll just quickly show you one more thing. You can actually drag in pretty much whatever you want. Okay? You can, let's see if I can find a what's this? Low 5G. Cool. That's just this little beat I've made. I'm going to drag this into the kick. Now when I touch it, so you've got a sampler as well. In real time, you can drag any file into any of these palettes. You can go in and edit them. Just quickly, let's have a look at this little section. So this is the kit here, and zoom in again to give you a bit of just a little bit of a look into this. So this is for my electronic drum kit, and you can add files the traditional way here by selecting a folder instead of dragging and dropping. But like dragging and dropping is the way, why would you want to go any way else? So I'm hovering over the snare at the moment. Now if you plug in your E Drumkit and hit your snare and it's not making the sound, you can actually hit plus over here, and now it's in MIDI learn. It's listening for the next hit that you do on your drum kit. So I'm going to hit my snare, and now it's remembered that. So if I go to my hi-hat here and I hit the plus and then hit the snare, now my snare will be the hi-hat. So you've got heaps of control over your electronic drum kit as well. Way more than using the Garageband acoustic drummer. Way more, because you can't change any of the MIDI notes using the Garageband acoustic drummer. So let's get out of there, and we'll go back to where the app is, hopefully still loaded, which it isn't. Thank you, Apple, for having really bad multitasking. Okay, so look, today was a not too in-depth show, but I hope some of these little things have got your brain ticking over, so you can go away and make some mistakes. Because, you know, if you've been a fan of this show for the short 10 episodes that it's been running, you'll know that's what it's all about. It's about making mistakes and learning from them. So before I wrap up and tell you about this prize that I'm going to give away, I just want to thank everyone too for all the people who've been subscribing to the channel. I had a look today. It's been really overwhelming how many people have subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much. I think I'm only like about 4 people away from 500. So that's why I'm doing this giveaway today. And I want to thank Andreev at... God, I can't even think of what his company's called. It's going to be by Elliot Garage for supplying this giveaway for today. So I'm giving one lucky person the chance for a copy of EG Pulse. Trust me, it's absolutely worth it. It's something, if you are a drummer and you're wanting to experiment more, get better sounds, all that kind of stuff, this is worth grabbing. To get a copy of this, because I've only got one to give away, just leave a comment in the chat with the word banger, B-A-N-G-E-R, banger. And what I'll do is on Thursday, for the last show of this little series, I'll do a random number call for the comments, and I'll announce that on Thursday. So once again, don't forget to leave a comment. I will also update the show notes and put a link to my little folder of drum samples if you would like to get those. And what time is it? We're exactly on 8:30. When does that happen? Let's have a look and see has anybody got any questions or anything. I'm so shocking at doing the questions thing. Rowie, just going back. Oh, there's so many things I go to say and then think, no, that's what Pete says. I see Desolate Mornings later. Get a note from your teacher. Scott, always nice to learn new workflows. Definitely. Challenge yourself. Always try and find ways around the system that Apple gives you. I mean, Apple's fantastic for everything that they offer as music creation, video creation, photography, all that kind of stuff. But they still have this walled-in feature that is, it's relaxed over the years. But like as I said a little bit about me, I started using iOS devices back when everything was so closed down. We had to jailbreak back in 2007 and stuff like that to be able to use this for music creation. So, and I can't help but not still being in that mindset because there still are so many restrictions with Apple products, and especially with Garageband. I mean, especially with that little tip I showed you with just using the timer to time your song. I mean, speaking of time, how much time can that save you now? I mean, I used to like fully do a mix down of the song, go have a look at the song in another app, see how long it is, then go back and try and work that out. Oh, stuff that shit. Just, it's so pointless. And it looks like Apple's never going to put a song length in GarageBand. I mean, if they haven't by now, I can't really see them doing it again, Banger. Yes, that was banger's the word. Banger is the word, BANGR. In the comments, after the show I meant. So not in the chat, just in the comments, just put banger somewhere and that'll enter you into the show. Sorry for not being clear about that, but yeah, in the comments after the show. And again, I'll put the link in for the drums at some stage today. And I'll probably put that link in all the next shows for this week. We've got a cool interview coming up for the end of this week too. You can put MASH as well. I'll still get where you're coming from, Pete. Looks like hopefully we've got a really cool interview. Again, it's going to be hard to beat Dan Baker's interview. It was pretty fascinating stuff. I mean, the dude had a fucking guitar made out of a fry pan. What the absolute hell? All right, so that wraps it up for about me. I'm now just spinning crap to pass time. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you all for supporting me. Hope you enjoyed the show and got something out of today. I hope I've opened your eyes a little bit to the fantastic app that is EG Pulse. Don't fret, because as the weeks go on, I will be going back and showing you more of EG Pulse. Because we only have little short amounts of time in these shows. It's intentional, so I can come back and revisit and explore more. But I want you to explore. So thanks, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. Like, share, subscribe, do all the usual YouTube crap. And I will see you tomorrow. Take it easy. Have a great day. And remember, tea.